So hi, good morning. This is a video I didn't think I would be having to make at this time. It's exactly 12 months to the day since I had a double knee replacement. Now, at first things were going quite well. I'd had a small fall in the hospital and subsequently fell after that, giving myself a dislocated right knee, and I ended up tearing the quad all the way up to almost the top of my thigh. Recovery was going quite well. I was doing quite a significant amount of rehabilitation. I did have a number of different falls over the time, but in August I found out that I'd had a quad tendon tear in my left leg. That may have been the cause of some of the falls, but that resulted in me going in for surgery on the 18th of August, and I proceeded to then recover from that. And again, recovery was going quite well. The last video that I posted on this channel was from the Isle of Harris and Lewis, and I had been out taking some photographs for the first time. I hadn't gone on any beaches because I was sticking to my recovery plan. Unfortunately for me, we found out in December that that quad tendon had failed, and they scheduled more surgery to repair that on the 10th of January this year. I went in for surgery, quite positive, and they were going to do what's called an allograft. They were going to take a bit of tendon, possibly from a donor, and they were going to completely repair my extensor mechanism. So that's the patella tendon, the patella, and then the quad tendon above that. So they were going to get that from a donor, and they were going to implant that into myself. And they found infection in my new knee joint that I'd received in March the previous year, and they had to take that joint out. That meant they weren't able to do the tendon repair, and I was subsequently in hospital for 2 weeks on quite strong IV antibiotics. Now, luckily for myself, the infection that I had was strep, and that meant that I could take oral antibiotics at home. So I went into, for the 6 weeks after post-op, I had quite an intensive session of antibiotics, and that's resulted in 6 weeks now clear of antibiotics. The whole time my knee has been in a knee splint, and they used some pins and some cement along with some almost like cat litter in the wound to try and manage the infection, and it's worked well. I had some fluid drained off my knee last week, and I'm scheduled for surgery in 3 days' time. Now, that surgery is going to be very different from any of the surgeries I've had in the past. Because of the difficulty with the tendon repair, they're having to use what's called a knee hinged prosthesis. So my understanding on it is that it will be fixed in the middle and it will rotate round that hinge, whereas a normal knee joint, they just cap the new knee over the top or the end of the bones. With a hinged knee brace, they have to put pins much further down into your leg or up into your femur. So recovery is going to be quite some time, and at the same time they're going to do what is called an Achilles allograft. Now that means previously I was going to get a full extensor mechanism, that's the kneecap and the tendons top and below it, but this time round they're going to take an Achilles from a donor, put that bone graft directly onto my kneecap, so it's just the quad tendon they need to repair. The idea of that is that it is much easier to graft bone than it ever is to graft a tendon. So hopefully it's going to go to plan. Unfortunately, if it doesn't go to plan this time, then I'm looking at getting my knee fused. So I would say to anyone considering getting a double knee replacement, I've had quite a time of it, and I'm a very positive person, and I would say that if you're in the slightest little bit get affected by setbacks, then double knee replacement is not for you. I mentally have been fine throughout this process, and I think that's partly just because I am such a positive person. But I'm looking forward to the surgery now. It's been quite a challenge having just one leg to stand on for the last little bit, and I'm looking forward to getting both my legs back on the ground. I've had to use a wheelchair throughout the last 12 weeks, and that has given me a massive boost in being able to get out and about and the mobility side of that. As I go back or come back out of hospital next week, then I'll be hitting the rehab in a massive way. And I look forward to updating you on the process and how things go. So hopefully I'll see you in the next one, and for now, I'll see you later. Bye.